I woke up in the hospital 3 days ago. The doctor said I was lucky to be alive. Car accident, head trauma, temporary blindness, they told my wife Sarah. But here's the thing. I could see perfectly fine. The bandages covered my eyes, sure, but through a small gap near my left temple, I had a clear view of everything. The nurses didn't notice. The doctors didn't check close enough. And Sarah? Sarah had no idea I was watching her every move. Why would I pretend? Call it intuition. Call it paranoia. For months, something felt off. Late-night texts she'd hide. Perfume that wasn't hers on her coat. Smiles that died the second she walked through our door. I needed proof. So when the doctor wrapped those bandages around my head, I stayed quiet. Let them think I was blind. Let Sarah think she was safe. For 2 days, I played the helpless husband. Squeezed her hand when she visited. Listened to her voice crack with fake concern. Watched her check her phone every 5 minutes when she thought I couldn't see. But I wasn't ready for what happened on day 3. Sarah arrived at the hospital around 2 p.m. She wore the blue dress I bought her last Christmas. Her hair was done. Full makeup. For a hospital visit. "Hey, honey," she whispered, sitting in the chair next to my bed. Her hand found mine. Cold fingers. No wedding ring. "I took it off to do dishes," she said quickly, like she'd rehearsed it. "Forgot to put it back on." I squeezed her hand twice. Our signal for "I love you." She squeezed back once. Not twice. Once. Through the gap in my bandages, I watched her eyes drift to the door. Then to her phone. Then back to the door. She was waiting for something. Or someone. "The doctors say you might regain your
sight in a week or 2, she continued, her voice too cheerful. "Isn't that great? Everything's gonna be fine." I nodded slowly, kept my breathing steady. I need to step out for a bit. Gonna grab coffee. You want anything?" I shook my head. She stood up fast, too fast, kissed my forehead without looking at me. The door clicked shut behind her. I counted to 60. Then I carefully adjusted my position, angling my head toward the door's window. The hospital hallway stretched out in front of me. Sarah stood near the elevators, her back to me, typing frantically on her phone. 30 seconds later, a man stepped out of the elevator. Tall, dark hair, expensive suit. He smiled when he saw her. Not a friendly smile. The kind of smile that made my stomach turn. And then Sarah did something that made me grip the bed rail so hard my knuckles went white. She wrapped her arms around his neck, kissed him, not a peck, a real kiss, the kind she hadn't given me in over a year. They pulled apart, laughing about something. He handed her a coffee cup. She took it with both hands, her head tilted up at him like he'd just handed her the world. That's when I decided they needed to meet me. The blind husband. SFX hospital call button beeping. I pressed the nurse call button. 3 short bursts. Emergency signal. 2 nurses rushed in within seconds. "Mr. Parker, what's wrong?" I pointed toward the door, my hand shaking, not from fear, from rage. I heard someone outside, talking loud, scared me." One nurse checked the hallway. "I'll ask them to keep it down, sir. You need rest." "Actually," I said, my voice weak and trembling, Could you get my wife, Sarah Parker? She said she'd be right outside. I need her." "Of course. Give me just a moment." The nurse disappeared. I waited. 15 seconds. 20. 30. Then I heard it. Footsteps. Fast. Panicked. Sarah's voice in the hallway. "Is he okay? What happened?" She burst through the door, breathless. Alone. "I'm here, baby. I'm here." She grabbed my hand. "What's wrong?" "I got scared," I whispered. "Thought I heard something. Where were you?" "Just downstairs, getting coffee. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." I turned my head toward her voice, careful to keep the bandages in place. My chest felt tight, like someone was squeezing my lungs with both hands. Every word she spoke landed like a slap.
every lie wrapped tighter around my throat. I wanted to rip the bandages off right there, wanted to see her face when I told her I knew everything. But I didn't. Not yet. I swallowed the anger down, let it burn in my chest, and squeezed her hand like nothing was wrong. "Can you stay?" I asked. "Just for a little while?" "Of course." Her voice was softer now, almost convincing. "I'm not going anywhere." Liar. An hour passed. She sat in the chair, scrolling through her phone. I listened to the soft taps of her fingers on the screen, watched her smile at messages I couldn't read. She thought I was asleep. At 4 p.m., she stood up. "I need to run home real quick," she whispered. "Grab some of your things. I'll be back before dinner." I didn't respond. Let her think I was out. The door closed. I counted to 100 this time. Then I reached up and loosened the bandages just enough to see.
Clearly. Because I wasn't done, not even close. I called my brother, Mike, from the hospital phone, told him everything. He didn't ask questions, just said, "I'll be there in 20. Mike arrived with my lawyer, David Chin. They set up a laptop on the rolling table next to my bed. David pulled up security footage from our home, cameras I'd installed 2 months ago that Sarah didn't know about. "You sure you want to see this?" Mike asked, his hand on my shoulder. "Play it." The footage showed our living room. Timestamp, 6:47 p.m., 2 nights before my accident. Sarah walked in with him, the man from the elevator. They didn't waste time. His hands were on her before the door even closed. She laughed, pulled him toward the couch, our couch. I watched for 30 seconds before I had to look away. "How long?" I asked David. "Based on the footage, at least 4 months, probably longer." Mike leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "What do you want to do?" "I want her to know I know," I said quietly. "But not yet, not until I have everything I need." David nodded. "Smart. Let me handle the legal side. We'll document everything. When you're ready, we move." They left around 6 p.m. Sarah returned at 6:30, carrying a duffel bag with my clothes. She set it down next to the bed, humming softly. "Feeling any better?" she asked, sitting down. "A little," I lied. She leaned forward and kissed my cheek. Her lips felt like ice. I wanted to pull away, wanted to scream, wanted to grab her by the shoulders and ask her why. Why she destroyed everything we built. Why she lied every single day. Why I wasn't enough. But I didn't move. I stayed frozen, my jaw clenched so tight it ached. My heart hammered against my ribs, loud enough that I thought she might hear it. Every second she sat there felt like torture. "I'm gonna stay the night," she said, settling into the chair. "Keep you company." "You don't have to." "I want to," she interrupted. "You're my husband. I'm not leaving you like this." That's when the door opened, and her lover walked in, the door creaking open. He froze in the doorway. Sarah shot to her feet, her face drained of color. He looked between us, confused. "Sorry, wrong room." "No," I said, my voice loud and clear. "You're exactly where you need to be." I reached up and pulled the bandages off my face, let them fall onto my lap. Sarah's mouth opened. No sound came out. "Surprise," I said, staring directly at him. "I can see just fine." The man backed toward the door. Sarah grabbed my arm. "Wait, let me explain." "Explain what?" I pulled my arm away. "That you've been sleeping with him for 4 months? In our house? On our couch? I've got footage, Sarah. All of it." Her face crumpled. Tears streamed down her cheeks. "I didn't mean for this to—" "Get out," I said quietly. "Please, get out." She looked at her lover. He was already gone, disappeared down the hallway like a coward. Sarah stood there for another moment, her hands shaking. "I'm sorry," she whispered. Me too, I said. Sorry I ever trusted you. She grabbed her purse and walked out. Didn't look back. Mike came back an hour later, found me sitting up in bed, staring at the wall. You okay? He asked. No, I admitted, but I will be. David filed for divorce the next morning. Sarah tried calling, texting, even showed up at the hospital once. Security escorted her out. I was discharged a week later, moved into Mike's place while the divorce went through. Sarah fought it at first. Then the footage surfaced. Her lawyer advised her to settle. She signed the papers 2 months later. I'm in a new apartment now, smaller, quieter. Starting over at 43 isn't easy, but it's better than living a lie. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I'd never pretended to be blind. If I'd just confronted her the second I suspected something. Maybe we could have worked it out. Maybe not. But here's my question for you. Was I wrong to test her like that? Should I have just asked her the truth? Or was it the only way to really see who she was?